Hello and welcome back to Marta Plays. This video will have a voiceover because I had friends playing with me when playing this instance in World of Warcraft, The War Within. So I kind of didn't want to put them in the position to be heard and stuff. So this one is Ecodome in the same area where Tazavesh instance is, which is Karash. So basically, we're running M0s this week. The patch just came out on Wednesday, the 6th, and this week is like a buffer week in which M Plus is not technically open yet, but we're able to do M0s for Vault and Loot. M0s drops Champion Track that will be upgraded with the usual Valorstone system and the crests. So what we did was, like, at the moment there are exactly 6 M0s available. Those M0s don't comprehend Tazavesh because for some reason Tazavesh, especially since it's hard mode on M+, is not released this week. So technically speaking, if you do an M0 World Tour, you will run 6 instances, and then it will be 2 slots short, like 2 runs short for your 3rd Vault slot for next Wednesday. What's the advantage of actually having all of 3 of the slots on M0s is that you get a chance of 3 champion pieces, and so you get a higher chance of getting one of your tier set items on champion track on week 1. But since you're short, because you have like 6 runs and you missed 2, right, to go to 8 for the 3rd slot, you will have to run 2 instances again on M0 difficulty from the pool. In that case, since now M0s are set on a weekly reset, you won't get any loot on the second rerun that you do for the 2 additional runs that you will have to do, and you will need a fresh ID. What we did was have one of us log on to an old character which wasn't saved yet and make him enter the instance with at least one of us in the group as a party leader, the new character. So to create the ID, at that point the person could promote the other guy and log off because we would have a fresh ID. Note that we learned the hard way that you need to actually reset the instance that if you ran as leader and you're saved. So because if you just enter with a fresh character, even if that character gets promoted to leader, the instance is not reset, you won't see any mobs or bosses, and it's scary. Don't worry, you can actually simply reset it, run out reset, and then it will work. This video won't be very much about mechanics because this group has a very high DPS, so you just saw probably the first boss melt. We didn't see any of the mechanic that this guy does. That's because he can heal if he siphons the ads that he spawns, but we never got to see that mechanic because we have a decent group of players. From what I can say, this instance will probably be a bit of a mess on some of these pools. There are casters, there are random charges from some of these mobs, there's AoE damage going on, so it's gonna be interesting to see next week what's gonna happen. I plan to main Holy Priest and Rest Shaman for this season. Holy Priest will be the raiding character, so that's the character I will probably focus at first. But I kind of don't want to play Holy that much. I mean, I played Holy a lot in this game. I know that they did some changes to the mana pool and to empower the 5 mana abilities that we have for group healing in M+, because before Holy was basically non-existent in M+, and everybody was disciplined, me included, but here I say it, I don't like Discipline all that much. I mean, it's a fun spec, I've played it to a decent success in the past, but if I have to pick, it's not my favorite healer. because it doesn't really feel like a healer to me. So yeah, but well, we can dwell on that maybe another video. Anyways, so there's gonna be priest and then rest of shaman. Another pick for me was preservation evoker. Preservation evoker is the only healer class I've never ever played to end game, so I'm kind of curious to tackle that challenge. It's probably one of the most challenging healers I've tried, probably the hardest actually, because it's so different from any other healer in the mechanics that he uses. But it's very fun. It's a very mobile class with a very short range that can be frustrating, and it takes adaptation to do it, so I'm not completely sold on playing shaman. Shaman is very fun. I always loved it. So I mean, I've played it all through Cataclysm and Draenor, and in season 1 of The War Within as well. It was my main. So last season my main was Rest of Druid. So yeah, I kind of don't want to give up on the Druid as well. So I'm a bit in a pinch, because I kind of want to play almost every healer that's out, but I won't have time to do it realistically. So anyways, this is the second boss. This is a bit more interesting in mechanics. So he will have like a debuff that puts on 2 players, that will spawn a spear that needs to be DPS down. So apparently, I haven't read yet, but we are stacking those in melee. Don't do like we did in M+, probably, because you don't want the debuff to overlap unless people pop a cooldown, because that leaves a dot on you that stacks. So with 2 dots, it's kind of hurtful. It also has a charge ability. For now it's combined, the guy and the mount are combined, like in a minute or like in a bit, yeah, they split up. When they split up, this guy gets basically immune, but you can run the charges from the mount through the boss. That will give you a damage buff, so you will be able to actually damage the dude. In this phase, you cannot touch the mount, you can only DPS the dude. So you need to run it a few times across it, then they will combine again. At this point they are actually damageable, and you can DPS them down, both of them. As you can see, this is already over, probably, then plus it won't be as easy breezy as we did it here. But we were playing mostly our mains, so whatever. Actually I'm not, but yeah. Okay, on to we go for my favorite part, not this mechanic here. Basically there are these pillars. When you're out of combat, you can channel these pillars, and they go faster if everybody channels them. If everybody channels them, the whole group will get a buff on haste, which would be kind of handy, I reckon, during M+. You probably don't want to get all of them, because it doesn't last that long. It's like 40-second buff or something. But it can be handy before like one of these big pools. Like this big pool here, it's kind of a mess, because there are the casters, there's the random charges, and as you will see, we will now body pull or charge pull some of the mobs from the sides. Also we have like mages going crazy with arcane orbs, so whatever. So in another run that we did after this, we just went straight inside the building that you see on the lower, now on the left side of the video, and lost them behind the wall. I guess there are other mobs in there, but it's fine. I mean, you can probably just do it like that in M+. You run straight through, run into the building, I guess. But this is just speculation, because I haven't played the PTR, and I like to keep things like in the discovery part. This is me trying to see if that works in combat. It doesn't work in combat, the pillar. You have to be out of combat to be able to channel it. So yeah, anyways, this part here, it's a lot of damage. There's a lot of magic debuffs going on, and it's surely interesting to heal. Our tank doesn't take that much damage here. Also, Vengeance Demon Hunter can heal for a lot, so as you can see from the healing meter there, we're pretty much matching energies, which is kind of unsettling for me, but sure. So yeah, this is probably the most difficult pull in this instance, I feel, but I will be able to tell you more next week. Now we're approaching the end of the instance. There's gonna be a couple more pulls like this with the pillars and stuff. So what else there is to know? All of these instances when you run them the first time and you get loot, can drop the wraps for your cloak. The cloak is the new item introduced, so now we have like 2 locked slots, which are the belt, because we need, you got the belt last season, the one that you can buff up by running delves. That mechanic this week is disabled. You can't actually buff it above 601 if you got to the maximum before the end of the season. From next week, empowered dungeons will be up again, and you will be able to get the next step. Then the other item introduced is the cloak. You just have to complete the campaign quest on one character from your account. After that, all of your characters will be enabled to access a skip that will just give you the cloak in like 2 minutes tops. Just run to Tazavesh. You just have to do like the first 2 quests or 3, which are just dialogue quests in the campaign. Then you have an option to skip, and then you will be entitled to get the wraps from the guy that sells them in the small island towards the center of Karesh. Note that it will share the upgrades that you get. So how do you upgrade it? You can get 6 pieces basically of cloth of wraps every week. You can get those from M+, from raid bosses, from delves, and from, I think, also from war bosses, but I don't know. I got mine from delves, but you can also drop them here in M+, or in M0 the first time you ran it. That's what I was saying before. So you get 6 of those, and they are shared. So there's like a mini talent tree, pretty straightforward, and all of your characters will get that empowerment when they get their cloak, so you won't have to do much about it. So this is the last boss. This is also kind of an interesting boss. I feel like it will be an healer's check. There's an ongoing dot damage, rot damage on everyone, because the boss is a sort of damage aura. There are these lines mechanic, and now you can't see it, but there's an image of me behind the party. You will see it in a bit again. Basically, this guy splits your souls and then targets it with AoE abilities. So you have to run to your soul and retrieve it, like that. That's my soul. I'm supposed to retrieve it. I didn't do it. I failed this time again. If you don't retrieve it, you get damage on yourself and an ongoing dot. So you kind of really want to retrieve it. Now you will see it better, because I finally will be able to. You see, you run on top of it, you get it. You get a buff, a damage and healing buff, and you don't take the damage from the boss killing your soul. So this is I found it was kind of fun, but then again, this is an M0, so it's not very challenging on the healing department, given that I wasn't full mythic track like I was on my druid. So this was sort of an alt last season, but it was still Pistons.